My name is Mary Edmiston, and I'm 27 years old. Just minutes before the church doors opened, my fiancé slapped me so hard my lips split open. My own mother stood right there and calmly told him, "Not the face." Her father still has to walk her down the aisle. 180 guests watched me walk down that aisle with a black eye still bleeding under my veil. My mother smiled with pride. My fiancé smiled like he'd already won. For 8 months I had secretly recorded every slap, every threat, and every conversation where my mother coached him how to hit me without ruining the wedding photos, all so she could sell me to save her company. She picked every single guest herself. Employees, investors, business partners. The perfect audience for her perfect merger. She built the stage. Before I take you back to how this nightmare started, if stories about a mother who sells her own daughter for money and status hit you in the gut, please smash that like button and subscribe right now. And in the comments, tell me where you're watching from and what time it is for you right now. I read every single one. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how I became the asset my mother tried to liquidate. 19 months before that wedding, my grandmother died. Catherine Edmiston, 84 years old, sharp until the very end. The funeral was exactly what she would have wanted. Small, dignified, no theatrics. My father looked exhausted. He'd been running the family company for 30 years, and losing his mother, the woman who'd built it with her own hands, hit him harder than he'd admit. My mother, on the other hand, was perfectly composed. Black Chanel suit, pearls, accepting condolences like she was hosting a charity gala. I remember watching her that day and thinking, she doesn't cry at funerals. She networks. I should have paid more attention to that. A week later, we sat in Eleanor Hastings's office for the will reading. Eleanor was my grandmother's attorney, 58 years old, the kind of woman who spoke in complete sentences and didn't waste words. My father, my mother, and me. 3 people waiting to hear how Catherine Edmiston had divided an empire. The house went to my father, various charitable donations, and then Eleanor said the words that would change everything. 51% controlling interest in Edmiston Manufacturing, held in trust for Mary Catherine Edmiston, to be released upon her 28th birthday or marriage, whichever occurs first. The room went silent. My mother's entire body went rigid. I saw it. The way her hands gripped the armrests of her chair, the way her jaw tightened. She'd spent 30 years as the first lady of Edmiston Manufacturing without owning a single share. Her identity, her status, her purpose, all tied to a company that had never actually been hers. And now her daughter, the one she'd always called too soft for business, owned controlling stake. My father was surprised but pleased. "Mom always said Mary had good instincts," he said, smiling at me. My mother asked Eleanor, "Can this be contested?" Eleanor's voice was ice. Catherine was of sound mind. This has been her plan for 12 years. 12 years. My grandmother had been protecting me since I was 15 years old, and I'd never known it. On the drive home, my mother was silent. I sat in the back seat, watching her check her phone. A text lit up the screen. I only caught a glimpse, but it was enough. "Interesting development. Let's talk." Unknown number. My mother typed back, "Tuesday, usual place." I filed that away. My mother meeting someone she wouldn't mention. About a will reading that had just made me a majority shareholder in a $68 million company. I should have known then. But I was 26, still believing mothers protected daughters. Still believing family meant safety. I was wrong. 5 months later, January, my mother suddenly became very interested in my love life. She kept asking if I was dating anyone, suggesting I should put myself out there more, saying things like, "You're 26, Mary. Time to think about settling down." I didn't think much of it. Just typical mother pressure. Then she invited me to a charity gala. "There's someone I'd like you to meet," she said. "Connor Walsh, CFO of a venture capital firm. Very successful. very interested in the manufacturing sector. That last part should have been a red flag. But I went to the gala and I met Connor. He was charming, 35 years old, expensive suit, easy smile. We talked about architecture, my actual career, interior design, the thing I'd chosen specifically to stay outside the family business. He seemed genuinely interested, asked thoughtful questions, made me laugh. When he asked for my number, I said yes. We started dating in February. He moved fast. Flowers every week, expensive dinners, constant texts. My mother was thrilled. She invited him to family dinners, introduced him to board members, talked about when you two get serious like it was inevitable. My father liked him too. Finally, someone interested in the business side of things, someone who understood quarterly reports and supply chain challenges. But I noticed things, small things. Connor asked very specific questions about the company. Not just polite interest, detailed questions about ownership structure, board composition, succession planning. And when I talked about my design work, his eyes would glaze over. But mention a family board meeting and suddenly he was engaged. One night in April, his phone buzzed during dinner. An email preview flashed across the screen before he tilted it away. Edmiston acquisition timeline. I said nothing, but I started paying closer attention. In June, Connor proposed. Not romantic. At a family dinner with my father present. Very public. Expensive ring. His speech included phrases like becoming part of this legacy and honoring the Edmiston name. He didn't say I love you. He said, I want to be part of this legacy. Everyone clapped. My mother cried happy tears. My father beamed. Connor slipped the ring on my finger and kissed me while our families cheered. And I thought, he didn't say he loved me. He said he wanted the legacy. But I pushed that thought down. Told myself I was being paranoid, said yes because saying no in front of everyone felt impossible. That night, driving home alone, I tried to feel happy. Instead, I felt like I'd just signed a contract I hadn't read. 2 weeks after the engagement, everything changed. It was a Thursday evening in May. Connor was picking me up for his work dinner with important clients. I was running 10 minutes late. I'd spent extra time on a design project for an actual client, lost track of time. Connor arrived at my apartment, saw me still in casual clothes. His smile dropped. You're not ready. I'll be 5 minutes, I just need to change. His hand on my arm. Too tight. I told you this was important. Do you ever listen? I tried to pull away. He shoved me against the doorframe. Hard. My ribs screamed. I stood there, shocked. Hand pressed to my side. Connor immediately shifted gears. God, Mary, I'm sorry. You stressed me out. This dinner is make or break for my promotion. Why can't you just be ready when I need you to be? I was apologizing to him. I was in pain, and I was apologizing. He helped me change. Gentle now. Solicitous. Once we're married, things will be easier. We'll have a routine. You'll understand my schedule better. Once we're married. Like it was inevitable, not a choice. At the dinner, I sat carefully, ribs aching every time I breathed. Connor was charming with the clients, his hand possessive on my knee under the table. The client's wife leaned over and said, "You two make such a perfect couple." I smiled. My ribs throbbed. The next day, I drove to my parents' house. I needed to tell someone. My mother was in the garden cutting roses. I lifted my shirt and showed her the bruise blooming purple-black across my ribs. Mom, Connor. He pushed me. Hard. I don't think it was an accident. I expected concern, protection, mama bear rage. My mother set down her pruning shears slowly. She looked at the bruise. Not at my face. At the bruise. Where exactly did this happen? My apartment doorway. Who saw? No one, but... That's good. She sat me down on the garden bench. Took my hands. Her voice was gentle. Firm. Darling, Connor is under enormous pressure. He's trying to prove himself at his firm. He's planning a wedding. He's navigating a relationship with a woman whose family owns a $68 million company. Do you understand the stress he's managing? But he hurt me. Men like Connor, successful, driven men, they handle stress differently. Your grandmother's husband was the same way. She learned to manage it. I stared at her. Grandpa hit Grandma? When necessary. And she built an empire anyway. That's what strong women do. She left. I sat on that garden bench, holding a dish towel to my ribs, and understood something for the first time. My mother had just told me abuse was normal, expected, something strong women managed. I drove home in silence, sat in my car in the apartment parking lot for 20 minutes. Then I went upstairs, opened my laptop, and started a folder. I called it Evidence. Over the next few weeks, Connor was attentive. Flowers, apologies, promises. I'll never let it happen again. You bring out the best in me. I'm so lucky to have you. I wanted to believe him. Part of me did. But I also started noticing patterns. Connor's temper was triggered by my independence. I made plans with friends without asking permission first. He sulked. I worked late on a design project. He questioned whether I was really working. I disagreed with him in public. Tight grip on my arm in the car, lecture about embarrassing him. The lines kept shifting. What was acceptable yesterday wasn't acceptable today. He was redefining normal, keeping me off balance. I didn't have a framework to name it yet. But I knew something was wrong. In July, at a family dinner, Connor and my father discussed the company's challenges. Manufacturing sector was tough post-pandemic. Supply chain issues, revenue down 30% from peak. Connor said casually, "You know, I might know some people who could help with capital injection, if you ever need it." My father was grateful but proud. "We'll manage." My mother's eyes sharpened. She and Connor exchanged a look. Quick, micro-expression, gone before my father noticed. But I noticed. Walking to our cars after dinner, Connor's phone vibrated. I glanced back, saw the email preview for half a second before he tilted the screen away. From J. Edmiston. Subject, Tuesday timeline. My mother emailing Connor about timelines. I filed that away too. 2 weeks later, it happened again. July evening, Connor and I at his apartment. I mentioned maybe postponing the wedding to spring 2027. Not canceling. Just more time. I'd been thinking, in June 2026, I'd turn 28. The trust would activate without needing marriage. I could access my shares, take control of the company, do it all without tying myself to Connor. I didn't say that part out loud. I just said, maybe we could wait. Connor's face darkened. Postpone? After I've told everyone at my firm? After your parents announced it? I just thought we could take more time. He grabbed my upper arm, yanked me close. You don't get to embarrass me like that. We're getting married in March. That's final. His grip hard enough that bruises formed under his fingers. 4 perfect finger-shaped marks. I went home, put on a cardigan despite the summer heat. Drove back to my parents' house. I needed to try one more time. Maybe the first time my mother didn't understand how serious it was. Maybe this time would be different. I showed Janet the bruises, 4 finger-shaped marks clear as day. Her reaction was sharper this time. Did anyone see this? No, but Mom, this is the second time. He's getting worse. She cut me off. Where's Connor now? At his place, I left. My mother immediately pulled out her phone, started texting. I watched her thumbs fly across the screen. I'm handling this. Go wait in the sunroom. I didn't go to the sunroom. I stood in the hallway just out of sight. My mother called Connor. I know. She came here. You need to be more careful. No, she won't leave. I'll make sure of it. But you can't leave visible marks. Not the face, Connor. Her dad still has to walk her down the aisle. After that, I don't care. But we need this wedding to happen first. Yes. The timeline stands. March. Just keep it together for 8 more months. I backed away from the door, got to my car before I started shaking. My mother had just given my fiancé permission to abuse me, as long as it wasn't visible, as long as it didn't interfere with the wedding. I sat in the driveway shaking. Then I stopped shaking. I opened my phone, downloaded a recording app. That night, July 18th, 11:34 p.m., Connor called me. "Hey, your mom called me. She said you're feeling stressed about wedding planning. I think maybe we should talk to someone. Like a therapist?" His voice was gentle, concerned. I had the recording app open. "Did she say anything else? Just that you showed her some bruises?" "Mary, I barely touched you. I think you might be bruising easily. Stress does that. Maybe you should see a doctor." He was gaslighting me in real time, rewriting reality, suggesting I was the problem. And he was coordinating with my mother to do it. I kept my voice flat. "You're right. I'll make a doctor's appointment. That's my girl. See? We can work through anything." I hung up, saved the recording, titled it July 18th, Gaslighting plus Mother Coordination, created a folder, Evidence. I sat in the dark, bruises aching, and realized if I went to my father now, Connor and Janet would call me unstable. It would be my word against theirs. I needed proof that couldn't be denied. So I decided, stop fighting, start documenting, let them think they'd won, and record everything. The next day, I apologized to Connor for overreacting, thanked my mother for putting things in perspective. They were both relieved. Mary was back on track. But I was different, quieter, more watchful. I started carrying my phone everywhere, recording app ready. I screenshot every email. I took photos of every bruise with timestamps. I created encrypted cloud backups in 3 separate accounts. I went from victim trying to escape to investigator building a case. When Connor made a controlling comment, I didn't argue. I recorded. When my mother made a wedding plan without asking me, I didn't protest. I noted it. Power was shifting. They thought I was broken. I was sharpening. In early August, I accidentally walked in early to a family dinner. Connor and my mother were having coffee. Didn't notice me in the doorway. My mother. "She's more compliant now. Whatever you said worked." Connor. "I just needed to establish boundaries. Once we're married, it'll be easier." My mother. 8 months, keep her stable." Connor. "The prenup lawyer sent the draft. It gives me decision-making authority over her shares if we divorce." My mother. "Perfect." I backed out silently, went home, saved the recording. August 2nd, coffee shop conspiracy. Then I pulled out Eleanor Hastings's business card, my grandmother's lawyer. I texted, "Is the trust offer still open if I need to discuss details?" Eleanor responded within minutes. "Always. Call anytime." I didn't call yet, but knowing I could was enough. 2 weeks later, I sat in Eleanor's office. She pulled out the trust documents. "Your grandmother would be proud you called. She hoped you would. Before the wedding." "What exactly did she leave me?" "Controlling interest, 51%. Your father has 49. The remaining shares were liquidated for charitable donations." I did the math quickly. 51% of a company worth roughly $85 million. I owned control. Eleanor watched my face. "Your grandmother set this up 12 years ago, when you were 15. She told me, Janet will try to use Mary as currency. I'm making sure Mary is the bank instead." The words hit me like cold water. She knew? That Mom would... Catherine was a brilliant woman. She saw patterns. Eleanor showed me more documents. A sealed envelope, addressed to me in my grandmother's elegant script. She wrote this 2 weeks before she died. I opened it, read, "Mary darling, if you're reading this, you've realized what your mother is. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you from her while I was alive, but I can protect you now. You own 51%. That means you own your choices. Your mother spent 30 years believing she was the queen of Edmiston manufacturing. She was the queen's decorator. You, my darling, are the queen. Don't let anyone make you forget that. With all my love, Grandma Catherine." I folded the letter carefully. "The trust activates when I'm 28, or when I marry," I said. If I don't marry Connor, I wait 10 months and get control anyway? Correct. And if I do marry him? Eleanor's face hardened. Then you have immediate control, but may I speak plainly? I nodded. I've seen the prenup Connor's lawyer drafted. It attempts to give him equal decision-making authority as your spouse. It's not legally binding for a controlling shareholder, but it reveals intent. He's positioning to take your company, Mary, not join it. Take it. I asked more questions. When does control transfer? Upon marriage certificate filing. How do I stop it? Don't get married. But I was thinking something else. I could cancel the wedding now. Wait 10 months. Take control without Connor. That was the safe choice. But it would let Connor and Janet walk away quietly. No consequences. No exposure. And how many other women had Connor hurt? How many other daughters had Janet commodified? I wanted more than escape. I wanted accountability. If someone hypothetically had evidence of conspiracy to defraud a company through coerced marriage, I said carefully, what would happen? Eleanor leaned back. Hypothetically? Public exposure would destroy business reputation faster than any lawsuit. In Pittsburgh's tight-knit manufacturing community, you'd be professionally radioactive. Hypothetically, I said, that sounds like justice. Eleanor smiled. Small. Approving. Your grandmother would approve. What do you need from me? Nothing yet. But when I'm ready, I'll need trust documents delivered to my father. After the wedding. It would be my honor. I stood to leave. Mary? Eleanor said. Your grandmother recorded a video message for after. Would you like to see it? My voice was tight. Not yet. After I've earned it. I walked to my car, sat behind the wheel, reread my grandmother's letter. You are the queen. Don't let anyone make you forget that. I started the engine, went home, updated my evidence spreadsheet with a new row. Wedding countdown, 7 months. Mary's evidence folder, growing daily. The next 4 months were a performance. I became the compliant fiancé. I said yes to dress fittings, yes to seating charts, yes to Connor's suggestions about my schedule. I smiled at engagement parties. I thanked my mother for her help with planning, and I recorded everything. September, wedding dress shopping. My mother, me, and her friend Diane in the dressing room. I had my phone recording in my purse on a chair. Diane, you must be so excited. My mother, adjusting my veil. Excited doesn't cover it. This marriage secures everything. The company, our position, Mary's future. Not, Mary will be happy. This marriage secures everything. I saved that recording. October. Connor's apartment. He was on the phone with his business partner Trevor. Thought I was in the bathroom. I was in the hallway, my phone positioned on the counter, recording video. Connor. 18 weeks, man. Then I'll have family access to board meetings. Douglas is already warming to me. Give it 6 months after the wedding, I'll be in operating discussions. A year, I'll be pushing him toward retirement. Trevor laughing. Dude, that's ice cold. Connor. It's business. 68 million in revenue, and I get in through a ring and a ceremony? That's the deal of my career. The deal of my career. Not love, not partnership. A deal. I walked in. Connor switched instantly. Warm smile, open arms. Hey babe, just talking to Trevor about his dating drama. I smiled, said me too when Trevor congratulated us. Later, I saved that video. October 19 deal of careeradmission.movi. November. Connor left his laptop open while showering. 8 minutes. I worked fast. Email thread between Connor, Trevor, and Connor's boss. Subject: Manufacturing acquisition opportunity. Connor had pitched Edmiston Manufacturing to his firm 16 months ago, before he even met me. The firm approved $15 million in capital injection, pending successful family integration. Connor's boss: This depends on you securing family trust. Don't screw it up. Connor's reply: Mother-in-law is handling daughter. It's locked. I screenshot everything. Shower turned off. I closed the laptop. sat on the couch, opened a book. Connor emerged. "Hey, want to grab dinner?" "Sure," I said, voice steady, inside, screaming. In late November, I tested him, mentioned postponing the wedding again. Just a summer. Watched his reaction. Face hardened immediately. "We've been through this. March. Final." I pushed. "But I'd only be 27, we could wait until—" Connor grabbed my wrist, yanked me close. "Listen to me. We're getting married in March. I don't care if you're ready. I don't care if you're scared. This is happening. Do you know how much I've invested in this? How much your mother has promised? You don't get to ruin this because you're having cold feet." I had my phone in my pocket, recording. "You're hurting me. Then stop making me." Classic abuser line. I filed it away mentally. He released me, immediately softened. "I'm sorry. I'm under so much pressure. The wedding, work, trying to impress your dad. Sometimes I need you to be my partner, not another problem." I said I understood. I saved the recording later. November 28th. Wrist grab can't ruin this. M4A. By December, I had 23 audio files, 14 videos, 86 screenshots, 31 time-stamped photos. Each piece of evidence told a story. Each timestamp marked a moment where Connor or my mother revealed who they truly were. November 6th. Connor and I at a company event. He was charming with my father's colleagues, networking like he already belonged. Then, in the parking lot, he grabbed my wrist because I'd spent too long talking to Vincent. "What were you discussing with him?" His grip tight enough to leave marks. "Just company history. Vincent worked with my grandmother. You don't need to be discussing company business with anyone. That's my role now." "We're not even married yet, Connor." His face darkened. "Technicality. Everyone knows you're mine." I pulled free, went home, added file number 24 to my collection. November 19th. I was at my parents' house, Janet in the kitchen with her sister, my Aunt Diane. They didn't know I was in the hallway. "Diane, are you sure about this match? Mary seems, I don't know, withdrawn." "Janet, she's adjusting. Connor knows how to handle her." "Handle her? Janet, she's your daughter, not a—" "She's a responsibility. And I'm making sure she's settled with someone who can manage both her and her inheritance. Doug's too soft. If I left it to him, Mary would end up with some struggling artist, and the company would fall apart." Diane, quieter. "Does Mary know about the money Connor's firm is providing?" "She doesn't need to know the details. She just needs to show up and say, 'I do.'" I recorded the whole thing, went home, cried for the first time in months. Not because I was surprised, because hearing my mother reduce me to a responsibility that needed managing, hearing it in her own words to her own sister, made it undeniable. I wasn't her daughter. I was her problem to solve. December 3rd. Connor left his phone unlocked while he showered. I saw texts between him and someone named Gerald, his boss at the firm. "Gerald, timeline still on track for March?" Connor, "Yes, engagement solid. Family's bought in? Mother-in-law is handling any resistance." Gerald, "Good. Board wants confirmation you'll have operational access within Q2. Connor, "Once marriage certificate is filed, I'm family. 6 months max to board seat." I screenshot everything. Showered quickly so Connor wouldn't know I'd seen. Added file number 28. I also had something else, an ally. I'd scheduled lunch with Vincent Callahan, the company's CFO. He'd been with Edmiston Manufacturing for 30 years. 62 years old, quiet, methodical. He'd worked with my grandfather, my grandmother, my father. My mother suggested the lunch, thinking it would help Connor integrate later. She didn't know I had other plans. In Vincent's office, overlooking the factory floor, I asked careful questions about company finances. "Your father's been stressed," Vincent said. "Manufacturing is tough right now. We need about $12 million for equipment upgrades and expansion." I heard Connor's firm might help. Vincent's jaw tightened, almost imperceptibly. "That's one option." I caught it. "There are others?" Vincent closed his office door, spoke quietly. Mary, I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to be honest. Do you want to marry Connor Walsh? I kept my guard up. Why would you ask that? Because in 30 years, I've never seen your grandmother's granddaughter look like she's walking to her execution. And I made a promise to Catherine that if I ever saw that look, I'd ask. I made a decision, trusted him partially. If I told you I didn't want to marry him, what would you say? Vincent, I'd say I have 2 investors ready to provide $14 million with better terms than Connor Walsh's $15 million. I'd say I've been waiting for you to tell your father you're not ready. I'd say your grandmother told me you were smarter than anyone gives you credit for. He'd been planning, protecting. Why didn't you tell my father? Because Janet would kill it. She wants Connor in this family. If I present alternatives now, she'll convince Douglas I'm undermining her daughter's happiness. But if you present them, then it's the bride having second thoughts. Which is normal, Vincent finished. I sat back. I could end this now. Cancel wedding, Vincent presents investors, company saved, everyone moves on. But that was quiet. Vincent, what if I told you I don't want to cancel the wedding? He looked confused. I don't understand. What if I told you I want it to happen exactly as planned? But I need you to wait until after to present the alternative investors to my father. I showed him one audio file. Just one. The deal of my career recording. Vincent's face went white, then red. That son of a... I have 22 more, plus videos, photos, emails, texts between him and my mother. Vincent realized I wasn't broken, I was hunting. What do you need from me? Keep the alternative investors ready. Don't tell my father yet. And on the wedding day, I need you in the audience. I wouldn't miss it. I explained part of my plan. The wedding would happen. Guests would be there. They were going to see who Connor and my mother really were. And then Vincent would stand up and tell my father the company never needed Connor. Vincent, quiet respect in his voice. Your grandmother would be so proud. Does my father know about the 51%? I asked. No. Your mother told him controlling interest but never explained the split. He probably assumes it's 50-50. He'll find out after, I said. When I can explain why I let it happen. Vincent nodded. You need him to see the full picture before he can understand the solution. Exactly. I left his office. At the elevator, Vincent said quietly, I've got your back, Mary, whatever you need. Just be there March 15th, and trust me. The elevator doors closed. I allowed myself a small smile. I wasn't alone anymore. The last 3 months before the wedding, Connor's mask fell off completely. December 24th. Christmas Eve. Connor's family dinner. I was 20 minutes late. Traffic. Connor pulled me into the courtroom. You embarrass me in front of my parents. I'll make sure you regret it. He shoved me against the wall. My head hit a coat hook, cut on my scalp, hidden by hair. Christmas dinner, I sat with blood trickling down my neck under my hair, smiling. His mother. You two are so perfect together. Bathroom after dinner. I photographed the wound. Timestamp visible. Christmas decorations reflected in mirror. Evidence collection was muscle memory now. January. I was doing wedding budget review with my mother. She left the room to grab contracts. 90 seconds. I opened her laptop. Found recent bank statements on desktop. There it was. Deposit from CW Enterprises, LLC. $25,000. Date. September 15th. Memo line. Consulting advance. Connor had paid my mother $25,000 for delivering me. My hands shook. First time in months. Not from fear. From rage. But I breathed. Screenshot. Closed laptop. Sat down before my mother returned. Here's the florist contract, she said. Everything looks good? Perfect, Mom. Everything's perfect. That night, I added a new row to my spreadsheet. Financial transaction. Mother received $25,000 from Connor. This wasn't just emotional abuse. This was human trafficking. My mother sold me for $25,000. I sat in the dark, staring at the screen. Then I opened my audio journal app and recorded just for myself. January 18th. Today I learned my mother's price point. $25,000. That's what I'm worth to her. Interesting. In mid-February, 6 weeks before the wedding, my father noticed I seemed withdrawn. After Connor left a family dinner, my father asked me to stay. "Honey, are you okay? You've been so quiet lately." This was the moment. Tell Dad. Show evidence. End this now. I opened my mouth. My mother appeared in the doorway. "Doug, can I talk to you?" She pulled him aside. I could hear from the kitchen. "I think Mary's having pre-wedding jitters. Completely normal. But if you push her, she might spiral. Just give her space." My father, concerned. "Should we postpone?" "Absolutely not. Everything's paid for. Connor's family is coming from Boston. Postponing would humiliate Mary. She just needs to get through it." My father hesitated. "If you're sure, I'm her mother. I know what she needs." He returned to the kitchen. "Your mom says you're dealing with normal wedding stress. That true?" I looked at my father's face. He wanted to believe my mother. If I spoke now, Janet would call me dramatic. It would be my word against hers. He might suggest therapy or postponing, but he wouldn't believe the full extent without proof he couldn't deny. "Yeah, Dad, just nervous. Big change." He looked relieved. "It's going to be beautiful. Connor's a good man." "Yeah." After he left, I sat alone in my parents' kitchen. Realized I almost broke. Almost told him without the full plan in place. This proved it. They won't believe words. They'll believe 180 witnesses and a video they can't deny. I saved a voice memo. February 12, almost told Dad intervention blocked. M4AI. Late February, 3 weeks before the wedding. Final dress fitting. Connor was furious because the dress needed alterations. I'd lost weight from stress. It cost extra, delayed the timeline. That night, at his apartment, he exploded. "You can't even keep your weight stable? What else are you going to screw up?" He slapped me, hard, across the face. First time he'd hit my face. My cheek burned. My lip caught on a tooth. Split. Blood. My phone was on the counter, recording video. Connor froze. Realized what he'd done. Shit. "Mary, I'm sorry. Let me..." He tried to ice my cheek. I sat there numb. This was it. Face slap. On video. 3 weeks before the wedding. This was the evidence that would make 180 people gasp. Connor's voice was panicked. "Please don't tell your mother. She'll freak out. I'll go to therapy after the wedding, I promise." "I won't tell her," I said. I wouldn't. I'd tell 180 people instead. Connor, relief washing over him. "Thank you. God, Mary, I don't know what's wrong with me. I love you so much. After the wedding, everything will be better." "After the wedding," I said, "everything will be different." I meant it differently than he heard it. I went home, face swelling, used ice, arnica, makeup. By wedding day, there would still be a shadow. Still visible if you looked. Good. I watched the video of the slap. Connor's face twisted in rage, then fear. I saved it as February 24th face slap 3 weeks before wedding. Move. The centerpiece. March 1st, 2 weeks before the wedding. I reviewed all evidence, 38 audio files, 22 videos, 124 screenshots. I created a compilation video, started with Connor's Deal of My Career audio, showed bruise photos chronologically, included my mother's Not the Face recording, ended with the face slap video. Runtime 11 minutes. I saved it as the_truth, _about, _Connor, _Walsh, and _Janet, _Edmiston.mp4. Burned it to a USB drive. Put the USB in a safety deposit box. Made 3 backup copies. I was ready. The week before the wedding was surreal. My mother was in her element. Seating charts perfected. Timeline down to the minute. Every detail controlled. I sat quietly, agreeing to everything. "The live stream setup is confirmed?" she asked. "I want everyone at the company to see this." "All confirmed, Mom. Camera crew ready." I'd hired the AV tech. Chris, 28, ran a local production company. He thought he was setting up a wedding slideshow. I'd told him, just have the projector ready. I'll hand you a USB drive before the ceremony if there's a last-minute change. Easy, he'd said. Janet reviewed the guest list with satisfaction. 65 employees. They need to see this family's strength. 40 business partners, 30 investors, everyone who matters. She wasn't planning a wedding. She was staging a business presentation. She had no idea she was building her own courtroom. March 14th. Friday. Rehearsal dinner at the country club. 40 people. Connor gave a speech about marrying into an incredible family and honoring the Edmiston legacy. My mother glowed. My father got emotional. Connor's best man, Trevor, pulled me aside. Connor's really lucky. You're good for him. Trevor didn't know. He genuinely thought this was love. That made tomorrow harder, but more necessary. End of dinner, Connor presented me with a wedding gift, an expensive watch. For my beautiful bride. Tomorrow's our beginning. He kissed me gently, no one watching. For half a second I wondered, is there any part of him that actually feels something? Then I remembered, 38 audio files, 22 videos, $25,000. No, this was all performance. March 15th, wedding day. I woke at 6 a.m. Couldn't sleep anyway. Checked my phone. USB drive already with Chris. Video queued. 180 people confirmed. Everything ready. By noon, I was at the church. Hair, makeup, dress. The makeup artist left around 1:30. You look beautiful. I was alone in the bridal suite. Small room, one window, mirror. I adjusted my veil, checked my reflection. The makeup covered old bruises from weeks ago. My face was clear. For now. At 1:45, there was a knock. I turned. Connor walked in. My stomach dropped. Connor, you're not supposed to be here. He closed the door, locked it. I needed to see you. Your mother sent me. Said you seemed nervous at the rehearsal. I kept my voice steady. Just normal wedding jitters. Connor paced. 3 steps across the small room. Turn. 3 steps back. Energy manic. Are you getting cold feet? Because we're past that point. You understand that, right? I understand. Say it. Tell me you're not going to embarrass me in front of 180 people. This was a test. He needed submission. I'm not going to embarrass you, Connor. He relaxed slightly. Reached for my hand. Stroked it. The gesture was supposed to be tender. It felt possessive. I'm sorry. This week has been... He caught himself. I've worked so hard for this. For us. Almost said it. Almost revealed. Worked hard for this. Not us. He pulled me close, kissed my forehead. But his hand on my arm was too tight. See you at the altar, wife. He left. I exhaled. Then heard the door open again. Janet. Did Connor talk to you? Is everything okay? Everything's fine, Mom. She adjusted my veil. This is the most important day of our lives. Not your life. Our lives. She left. I was alone again. Checked my phone. 1:50. 10 minutes until doors opened. Knock. Again. Connor barged back in, furious. I just saw the seating chart. You put my boss in row 12? 12? Do you understand who Gerald is? He's managing partner. He's approving the funding. And your mother seated him like he's nobody. Connor, it's just seating. Don't minimize this. Do you have any idea what's riding on today? He stepped toward me. I backed up, hit the wall. This isn't a wedding, Mary. This is the biggest business deal of my career, and your mother is treating my boss like he doesn't matter. Did you tell her to do that? No, I didn't. Then fix it. He grabbed my arm, yanked me forward. We have 10 minutes. Go tell them to move Gerald to the front row. I tried to pull free. Connor, everyone's already seated. Figure it out. This is your family, your mother's event, your job to make sure my people are respected. My arm screamed, "You're hurting me." Then stop making me. My free hand slid into my bouquet. Phone there. Recording. Always recording now. Connor continued, voice rising. Do you know what I've sacrificed for this? The political capital, The promises I made about integrating into your family business? And you can't even get seating right? Let go of my arm. Not until you promise. Let go. Something in my voice made him pause. He saw my face, saw I wasn't scared. That made him angrier. His hand flew up. Slap. Hard across my face. My head snapped sideways. Cheek exploded. Lip split. Blood. Connor froze. Shit. Shit. He released my arm. Stepped back. Mary, I didn't mean… You weren't listening. I touched my lip. Fingers came away red. Connor's voice panicking. Fuck. Your face. The wedding starts in 8 minutes. The door opened. My mother walked in. She'd forgotten her clutch. She saw Connor, saw me, saw the blood. Her face didn't show shock, showed annoyance. Connor, out, now. Connor stammered. Mrs. Edmiston, I'm so sorry. She just… out. He left. The door closed. Silence. I stood against the wall, hand to my bleeding lip, waiting. My mother walked to the vanity, opened her makeup kit. Come here. Not, are you okay? Not, did he hurt you? Just, come here. Mom, Mary Catherine, we have 7 minutes before 180 people expect to see you walk down that aisle. Come here. I walked to the mirror. She grabbed my face. Not gentle, clinical. Examine the damage. Lip bleeding, cheek swelling. Left side of face already red. This is bad. My voice was hollow. Mom, he just hit me, in my wedding dress, 7 minutes before I'm supposed to marry him. She didn't respond to the violence. She responded to the logistics. She pulled concealer from the kit. Be still. Dabbed blood with tissue. Applied concealer with sharp strokes. Foundation. Powder. Working fast. I watched in the mirror. My mother's face concentrated. Problem solving. Fixing damage. Not addressing violence. She muttered while working. Not the face, Connor. She wasn't talking to Connor. He was gone. She was talking to herself. Her father still has to walk her down the aisle. Same words from 8 months ago. Same calculation. She wasn't upset that Connor hit me. She was upset that he hit my face. That he didn't follow instructions. I stared at my mother in the mirror. This was who she was. This was who she'd always been. She finished. Stepped back. It's not perfect, but the veil will cover most. Your father might notice. Pause. Can you keep it together for 1 hour? Not, are you okay to get married? Can you keep it together for 1 hour? Yes. She adjusted my veil, pulled it forward, angled it to shadow the left side of my face. There, it'll have to do. She picked up her clutch, walked to the door, stopped, turned. Mary. For half a second, I thought. We're already 12 minutes late. Don't keep 180 people waiting. She left. I stood alone in the bridal suite, touched my lip, still bleeding under the concealer, looked in the mirror, veil shadowing the bruise but not hiding it. Good. Let them see. I reached into my bouquet, stopped the recording. Save the file. Evidence number 38. I picked up my bouquet, walked to the door. One breath. I opened it. The wedding coordinator rushed toward me. Oh, thank God. Are you ready? I'm ready. She didn't notice the blood, didn't notice the bruise. She saw the veil, the dress, the bouquet. She saw a bride. Okay, your father's waiting. Let's get you married. I followed her down the hallway, through the church, to the large wooden doors. My father was waiting there, in his tuxedo. Nervous smile. You look beautiful, sweetheart. I held his arm. The doors opened. Organ music swelled. 180 faces turned toward me, and I began the longest walk of my life. I saw everything. My mother in the front row, pearls perfect, smile practiced. She'd already taken her seat, already composed herself, like the last 7 minutes hadn't happened. Connor at the altar, nervous but excited, probably still panicking about my face, wondering if I'd go through with it. Vincent 3 rows back, made eye contact. Tiny nod. I'm here. Employees scattered throughout. Some looking confused about why they'd been invited. Business partners checking phones. Investors in expensive suits. This was the audience Janet had curated. Perfect. I reached the altar. My father kissed my cheek. I love you. I love you too, Dad. Remember that. He looked confused. But the music swelled. He took his seat next to Janet. I handed my bouquet to the maid of honor, took Connor's hands. His palms were sweaty. He whispered, "You okay?" Perfect. Behind Connor, the screen displayed Mary and Connor, March 15th, 2026, in elegant script. No one knew it was about to change. The priest began. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. I half listened. Standard ceremony language. I knew what was coming. The priest would get to, if anyone objects, in approximately 4 minutes. I'd given Chris the instructions. Wait for that line, then switch from slideshow to USB video. The minutes ticked by. Connor squeezed my hands, tried to smile. I could see the calculation behind his eyes. Almost there. Almost done. Almost secured. The priest. If anyone can show just cause why this couple cannot lawfully be joined together in matrimony, let them speak now or forever hold their peace. Traditional pause. Usually no one speaks. 3 seconds. Then the screen behind Connor flickered, changed from romantic title card to black. White text appeared. Before this ceremony continues, there's something you all need to see. Murmurs rippled through the church. Connor turned, confused. What? I stepped back from him, removed my veil completely. The bruise was visible now. Fresh. Swelling. Blood seeping through hastily applied concealer. Gasps. Mary, what are you doing? My voice was calm, clear, carried through the church. Everyone needs to see what you really are. The video began playing. The screen showed black. Then audio played over it. Connor's voice. 68 million in revenue and I get in through a ring and a ceremony? That's the deal of my career. Silence in the church. Then the video cut to photos. My bruised ribs. Timestamp visible. May 15th, 2025. Connor's voice recording. You can't even keep your weight stable? What else are you going to screw up? Another photo. Bruises on my upper arm. 4 finger-shaped marks. July 23rd. I didn't watch the screen. I watched the audience. Employees' faces shifting from confusion to shock to anger. My father on his feet. Mary! I held up my hand. Watch, Dad. All of it. A woman next to my mother, board member's wife, blocked Janet from standing. Sit down. Watch what you've done. The video continued. Email screenshots. Connor pitching Edmiston Manufacturing as acquisition target. 16 months ago. Before he'd even met me. Bank statement. $25,000 deposit from CW Enterprises, LLC, to Janet Edmiston. Memo line, consulting advance. Audio. My mother's voice. Not the face. Her dad still has to walk her down the aisle. After that, I don't care. The church was utterly silent except for the video. More bruise photos, each time-stamped. Video clip of Connor. Just keep her pregnant and quiet after the first year. She'll be fine. I watched the reactions. In row 3, a woman I recognized from accounting had her hand over her mouth, tears streaming. Next to her, a man from the factory floor. Gary, I think his name was, had his jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscle jumping. Row 7. 2 investors who'd worked with my father for 15 years. They were looking at my mother with expressions I'd never seen before. Not pity. Disgust. Row 9. Janet's best friend Carol slowly stood up and walked out. Didn't say anything. Just left. 30 years of friendship ended in silence. Connor tried to leave the altar. 3 large men from the factory floor stood up, blocked his path. The one in front. I recognized him, Jake from shipping. Said quietly, "You're gonna watch all of it." Connor stayed. Janet stood, tried to speak. My father turned to her, voice shaking. "Sit down." She sat. I could see board members whispering to each other. Phones coming out. Not to record, to text. News was spreading beyond these walls already. The live stream chat must have been exploding. Trevor, Connor's best man, stepped away from Connor, like he was radioactive. He mouthed, "I'm sorry," in my direction. I didn't acknowledge it. Vincent stood up from his seat, walked to the front, stood next to me. Protective stance. Silent support. Row 12. Connor's boss, Gerald. The man who'd approved the acquisition. His face was bright red. He stood up, walked out while the video was still playing. Connor saw him leave. Saw his career walking out the door. The video played on. Final clip. The face slap from 3 weeks ago. Connor's hand across my face. The split lip. The blood. Then the screen showed final text. "This is who Connor Walsh is. This is who Janet Edmiston is. And this is what I endured while they planned to steal a company they don't own." The screen went black. The church was silent. 180 people frozen. Then my father broke it. He walked to the altar, didn't look at Janet, didn't look at Connor, looked at me. "How long?" "8 months, Dad." His voice cracked. "Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me without proof?" He looked at the screen, at Connor, at Janet, back to me. He realized I was right. He might not have. He turned to Connor. "Get out of my family's church." Connor tried to explain. "Sir, this is taken out of context." My father, louder. "Get out." Several employees moved toward Connor. He backed away, hands up. He fled through the side door. Trevor followed. "Dude, I can't. I didn't know." They were gone. My father turned to Janet. She was still sitting in the front row, face white, surrounded by 180 witnesses to her exposure. "You sold our daughter," my father said. His voice echoed in the church. "For $25,000. Janet tried to speak. "Doug, you don't understand. The company needed—" "Don't." His voice cracked like thunder. "Don't you dare say this was for the company. This company was built on integrity. You destroyed that. You—" He couldn't finish, turned away from her. I stepped forward. "Dad, there's more you need to know." I addressed the 180 witnesses and the 400 watching the live stream from home. Connor Walsh offered $15 million to save Edmiston Manufacturing, but the company never needed him. I turned to Vincent. "Tell them." Vincent stepped forward, addressed my father and the congregation. "I've had alternative investors ready for 3 months. Braddock Industrial Partners, $14 million. Better terms. No acquisition intent. Just partnership." My father, "Why didn't you tell me?" Vincent, "Because I was waiting for the right moment. And Mary asked me to wait until after this." I spoke again. Connor wasn't saving the company. He was buying it, through me, through a marriage that was purchased. My father sat in the front pew, head in his hands, processing. Wife betrayed daughter. Savior was predator. Company could have been saved differently all along. I continued. "There's one more thing you need to know, Dad." I pulled documents from beneath my bouquet. Eleanor had given them to me yesterday. "Grandma Catherine left me 51% controlling interest in Edmiston Manufacturing. Not shared with you. 51%. I own controlling shares." My father looked up, stunned. "The trust activates when I turn 28. 3 months from now. Or when I get married." Connor knew this. Mom knew this. That's why the wedding had to be in March. Before I turned 28 and didn't need him anymore. Reactions rippled through the church. Board members exchanging glances. Power dynamics just shifted. Employees nodding. Catherine always protected Mary. Business partners recalculating. Mary is the Edmiston to know now. Janet still silent, frozen. I turned to my father. "I'm sorry I let it get this far, but I needed everyone to see." I gestured to the 180 witnesses. "So when we reject Connor's firm, when we ban him from ever contacting our company again, when we restructure with real partners, no one will question it, because they all saw what he is." My father stood, walked to me, pulled me into a hug. First genuine physical comfort in almost a year. He whispered, "You're stronger than I ever knew. I'm sorry I didn't see. You see now. That's what matters. We turned toward the congregation. Janet still sitting, isolated, no one looking at her, no one standing with her. Vincent announced to the church, "This wedding is concluded, but if anyone wants to stay, there's a board meeting happening right now about Edmiston Manufacturing's future, and Mary Edmiston will be leading it. Have you ever had someone you trusted tell you your pain wasn't real? Drop a comment if you've been there." The church emptied slowly. People approached me. Some employees, "Thank you for showing us the truth." Some business partners, "We're with you." Some board members, "When's the meeting?" One woman, Nancy from HR, I'd known her since I was a child, hugged me tightly. "Your grandmother would be so proud," she whispered. Catherine always knew. A man I didn't recognize, one of the investors, shook my hand. That took more courage than most people have. The business community will remember this. My mother tried to approach. Douglas stepped between us. "Not now, Janet." She looked around the church, saw people actively turning their backs on her, saw 30 years of carefully cultivated relationships crumbling in real time. She left through a side door, alone. I stayed for 2 more hours. We held an impromptu board meeting right there in the church. 16 of 25 members present. We voted unanimously to reject any future contact from Connor's firm. We voted to schedule formal meetings with Braddock Industrial Partners. And we voted, quietly but definitively, to request Janet's resignation from all positions. The local business journal had the story by evening. "Wedding scandal reveals corporate conspiracy at Edmiston Manufacturing." The journalist who'd been a guest, not by my invitation, by Janet's, wrote a surprisingly fair piece. Focused on the financial fraud attempt, not the personal drama. The comments section filled with messages from women. "This happened to me. My mother did the same thing. I wish I'd had her courage." Within 48 hours, Connor's firm issued a public statement, terminating all discussions with Edmiston Manufacturing effective immediately due to incompatible values and ethical concerns that have come to light. They were covering their asses. Gerald, Connor's boss, had probably written that statement himself. Within 72 hours, my father received 3 separate calls from other companies. "If you need capital, we'd be interested in discussing partnership." On fair terms. The exposure hadn't hurt us. It had protected us. Within 5 days, 18 of 25 board members formally called for Janet's resignation from all positions. She submitted it on March 17th. The letter was 2 sentences. "Effective immediately, I resign from all positions at Edmiston Manufacturing and subsidiary boards. Personal reasons." No apology, no explanation, just exit. On March 20th, 5 days after the wedding, we met with Braddock Industrial Partners. The conference room that had seen so many tense discussions about Connor's solution now hosted a different conversation. 3 investors, all professional, all respectful. We discussed terms: $14 million, 18% equity, board seat, 5-year partnership, clean, transparent. Everything Connor's offer wasn't. One of the investors, a woman in her 50s who'd founded Braddock, said to me after we signed, "We saw what happened. Want you to know, we're not here because of scandal. We're here because your financials are solid, your workforce loyal, and your leadership just proved itself under conditions most CEOs never face." "Thank you," she smiled. "Also, my daughter was in an abusive relationship 3 years ago. What you did at that church, showing the evidence, making it undeniable, that's exactly what she had to do to get her family to believe her. You probably helped more people than you know." I nodded. Couldn't speak for a moment. After the investors left, Vincent handed me an envelope. Janet's resignation letter. I folded it, filed it, said nothing. "It's done," Vincent said. "It's done. But there was one more thing I needed to do." That night, I called Eleanor. "I'm ready to see the video now." She brought it to my apartment the next morning, a USB drive. Your grandmother recorded this 2 weeks before she passed. She asked me to give it to you when you'd claimed what was yours. I plugged it into my laptop, pressed play. My grandmother's face filled the screen. 84 years old, weak from illness but clear-eyed, sharp. Mary, darling, if you're watching this, you've claimed what's yours. I'm so proud of you. Not because you own 51%. That's just numbers on paper. I'm proud because you had the courage to use it. I know what Janet is. I've known for 30 years. I watched her marry your father for security, not love. I watched her build an identity around a company she never owned. And I knew, she'd try to do the same to you. I couldn't stop her while I was alive. Your father loves her, and I wouldn't break his heart by exposing her. But I could protect you. 51% isn't just ownership, darling. It's options. It's freedom. It's the ability to say no when everyone around you is saying you should say yes. Your grandfather tried to control me through company shares he held over my head. It took me 30 years to buy them back, 1% at a time. I vowed my granddaughter would start with power, not have to fight for it. You're an Edmiston. That means something. It means we build things that last. We protect people who depend on us. We choose integrity over profit. Never let anyone make you small, Mary. Not your mother. Not a man who thinks love means ownership. Not a business deal disguised as a marriage. You are always enough. You are always worthy. You are always the queen. I love you. I'm proud of you. And I'll be watching over you. Now go build something beautiful. The video ended. I sat there, crying. First time I'd cried about my grandmother since the funeral. But these were good tears. Relief. Gratitude. Love. I did it, Grandma. I whispered to the empty room. I protected it. I protected me. If someone you loved was being sold like property, would you stay silent? Drop a comment about the boundaries you've had to set with toxic family. March 22nd, 7 days after the wedding. My father and I had our first weekly dinner, a new tradition, small Italian restaurant. No Janet, no estate, just us. I filed separation papers this morning, he said. Not divorce yet, but separate. How do you feel? Sad, relieved, angry, everything. That sounds right. We ate in comfortable silence. Something we'd never had before. Do you hate her? He asked. Your mother? I considered. I hate what she did. But hating her would give her power over me. I don't want to give any more. That's very wise. I'm very tired, Dad. Hate takes energy. Outside the restaurant, walking to our cars. Monday morning, 8 a.m., first official day as co-CEOs. Ready? I looked up at the Pittsburgh sky. March evening. Still cold. But spring coming. I've been ready for 8 months. I just didn't know it. That night, I sat at my laptop, opened the evidence folder, 38 audio files, 22 videos, 124 screenshots. Everything that brought me here. I created a new folder, archive_closed_2026. Moved all the evidence there. Wouldn't delete it. Might need it if Connor resurfaced, but wouldn't look at it daily. That chapter was closed. I opened a new document, Q2_strategy_Edmiston_manufacturing.docx. Started typing, work ahead, company to lead, legacy to honor. My phone vibrated. Unknown number. This is Trevor, Connor's former friend. I know I have no right to contact you, but I wanted to say, I'm sorry I didn't see. And thank you. Connor told me yesterday he's leaving Pittsburgh. You probably saved whoever would have been next. That matters. I didn't reply, but I saved the message. Evidence that speaking up ripples beyond what you see. My name is Mary Edmiston. I'm 27 years old. 7 days ago, I walked down an aisle toward a man who thought love meant ownership and a mother who thought daughters meant currency. I showed 180 people who they really were. And in doing that, I showed myself who I am. I'm not the daughter my mother tried to sell. I'm not the asset Connor tried to acquire. I'm not even just my grandmother's legacy. I'm the person who chose evidence over silence, strategy over escape, people over profit. My grandmother left me 51% because she knew what my mother would do, but she also knew what I would do. She knew I'd choose to save what she built. Not because it was mine, because it was ours. All 320 of us. Monday morning, I become co-CEO. Next week, I'll make decisions about equipment, hiring, expansion. And somewhere down the line, when I'm ready, maybe I'll help other daughters understand what I learned. You can't sell what you don't own. And no one, not your mother, not your partner, not anyone, owns you. You are always yours to save. Connor Walsh left Pittsburgh within the week. His current whereabouts are unknown. Janet Edmiston resigned from all positions and lives separately from Douglas. They have not spoken to me since March 15th. I became co-CEO of Edmiston Manufacturing on March 23, 2026. The company is thriving. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been told your worth was negotiable, if you've ever had to choose between family and self, leave a comment. Your story matters. Your voice matters. And remember, the best inheritance isn't money or shares or property. It's knowing you were always enough to save yourself.